introduction really
necessary.
Konnichiwassup everybody, welcome back to another channel. Mix live. What's happening, man? It's Reconfiguring Self, and you're chilling with your boy Konnichiwassup. Gilimatitan is my name, and as you know, on this channel we talk about a few things. We open up and we are vulnerable enough to discuss our own growth, man, and what's happening with our lives and everything else. But before we do that, before we get into all of that juice and everything else, shout out to Machedi. Go subscribe to her channel. That's Machedi with 3 eyes. I'll put a handle somewhere down here for the lighting and the gear. Shout out to her as well. Anyway, thank you so much for joining the channel today and watching and deciding to spend time with me, you know. So today I wanted to do like a young catch up, you know, but before you do that, go subscribe to your friends, tell your friends to join the space, man. I'm going to be having a few guests on here, specifically people that I kind of in the spotlight in a way, but just having a conversation that's stripped down, and it's really just a conversation between me and them and their real selves, you know. So on today's episode, if you've already done the thing that you need to do, just subscribing and also notification bell and making sure that everybody else is tuned in. Now that you're settled, I want you to sit down, grab your water, and just, you know, as you can see, I'm rocking my DAEMAN merch. Shout out to the boys for that. I'll explain that in a different episode, but if you want the merch, you know what to do. Hit me up or go check out the DAEMAN handles and socials somewhere on the internet, right? Yeah, so today I wanted to talk about sobriety and being sober. And for many people who don't know, if you haven't watched any of my other content, you wouldn't know that I've been sober for a while now. Today actually is, what's the day today? Sometime in May. It's the beginning of May, right? And I wanted to talk about just the decision to not drink anymore, you know, that conversation, having that conversation with myself about alcohol and cigarettes, you know. Usually I'd be having a cigarette here, you know, smoking something, and I just decided like a few months back that it was time for me to let go. So at the time that I'm shooting this, I've been sober for exactly 100 days, the big 100, for cigarettes. I've been cigarette free for 100 days, and I'm looking at my app, so it's called I Am Sober. I hope you guys can see it, but this is it. And then also for alcohol, I've been sober for, I've completed my 7 months and I'm on my 8th month. So 7 months, 2 days as of the shooting of this video. So my whole chat with this thing was, in growing up, you realize the things that are kind of auxiliary to you. First of all, my reason for drinking and my reasons for it. You know how alcohol is basically, I don't know what it is. It's a social thing. Basically, it's when you're in social spaces, you drink, and even the way you're introduced to alcohol is basically because other people do it, and that's basically the format we have about fun. That's what we do, we drink. And I could say I've been drinking for close to probably 10 years, close to 10 years. I had been drinking for close to 10 years anyway, but I'd gotten to a point where I struggled with alcohol. I tried to leave alcohol some time before. I've tried to be sober before. And also, you know, people always ask, like, what do you do when you're in social spaces that need you to be drunk or that you usually let in? And personally, I just looked at my life and the way it was going. At first, I stopped going out. I stopped like clubbing as a way to refocus my energies. You know, I just felt like I was doing very repetitive things, and I didn't like the person I became when I was outside. First of all, also, it's like the interactions that you have with people when you're lit. I was not a horrible drunk or whatever, you know. I was not having like blacked out moments. I was not fighting or anything, but it was just like, I remember this one time I went to Cuban Links and I woke up at a different spot, you know what I mean? Like, I woke up in a different hood. I didn't have no money on me. I didn't have nothing on me, you know, and I just gotten dropped off at a random location. Imagine Cuban Links, so situations like that, and maybe having seen that you can take it to the extremes, you know. Yeah, I can handle my liquor, but for how long? You know, how long are we really trying to say you can drink and handle your liquor, right? So I got that under wraps. I decided that maybe clubbing is not for me, you know, the scene for me is not for me, you know. And I decided on my own that it's kind of time that I find alternative spaces for myself, you know, where I could still enjoy myself, not have to be in that intoxicated state. I stopped clubbing for a few months, and then yeah, I just got to being in my space, not going out as much, but going to alternative spaces, your markets and daytime events. And then when I decided to stop drinking, I don't know if it was a discipline thing, but I just felt like I was done with the experiment. You know what I mean? I'm in a comfortable space, first of all, to like afford my drinking habits, at least the way that I was drinking, you know. And I was in a space also I'm around people who also drink, you know, the same way I do, and it wasn't affecting anything. Like, it wasn't affecting my work. I was in a comfortable space with it, you know. I stopped from drinking really hard. I used to go on like really binge drinking seasons, bro. I used to do that a while back, you know. That's how I used to deal with my anxiety, sometimes my depression, sometimes. And when I'd passed that and I'd gotten to a place where I was in a healthy relationship with alcohol, I just decided maybe it's time I let go. So around October 2023, I didn't drink, you know. I had some drinks, and I just thought maybe this should be my last beer and forever. I've taken a break from alcohol before because I felt like it's an auxiliary thing for me. I felt like it's not adding or removing any value from me, but I'd rather not be drinking, you know. So I don't know what your motivations are. For some people, usually I'm only telling them that it's not quitting something just because you can't afford it, or just because you think you're doing too much of it, doesn't necessarily help. Also, exposure therapy kind of helps in the sense that if you are trying to quit a substance, it's still okay to be around that substance, so that we put it to a test of will, you know, to like see, am I actively able to like resist this, you know. So I still smoked for like at least, I smoked from October. I was still smoking cigarettes. I wanted to quit, but it was like, you know what, at least I still have like my nicotine and stuff, so I could drink, I could go out, have a blunt maybe, or not have a blunt, it would be fine, and just have Coke, which is something else, you know. That's a different coping mechanism, but I think for different people, different things work. Yes. So I just decided, you know, when I'm in a social setting, I'm not gonna drink. First of all, let me tell you about the experience. There's this general feeling of relief, you know. When you drink, there's this thing where you're like, in whatever situation, I'm gonna have to be lit. There's always gonna be alcohol in my hand or something. I'm always gonna have to be drinking something. And for me, that's no longer the case, you understand? For me, it's always like, I'm good now. I don't need to drink anything. I could have water, or could not drink at all, and I'd be fine, you know. I could be just chilling. I could just be there to enjoy the space as raw and authentic as it is, you know. And then also there's the issue of the people around the drinking space, because most drunk people are annoying. Oh my god, drunk people are annoying. You learn to get close to it, you know. My chat is, you see, she drinks, but I'm fine, you understand, and it's chill. It's really okay that she drinks and I don't, because I can handle people better. It does get annoying. I still don't prefer places that are like groove, you know. But the alternative, maybe easygoing space for me still works so much better. Also, the journey has been, I don't know, I didn't think I'd be able to pull it off completely, and it became so easy for me to quit cigarettes later because I realized that I had the resilience to do it. And also this general feeling of healthiness, guys. Oh my god, the general feeling of healthiness is amazing, because if you think about it, all you've had, if you smoke, you know, you're messing up this whole thing, you know, and the way you breathe, your performance in terms of like general well-being, you know. You can't run up a hill. Walking is a little bit difficult because the toxins in your blood, you know. My breath is so much better. Cigarettes ruining your teeth, and yeah, I know there's people who use like alternative cosmetics for their teeth, you know, and like charcoals for smokers and stuff, but having not to worry about what am I smoking, there's so much anxiety that it takes off. And it's crazy because I thought that I wouldn't be able to do it because of my anxiety, because I smoke because I'm always anxious. But now I don't know how I'm doing it, but I keep doing it. I keep, every day I'm able to like persist and just be able to function like a normal human being, and my whole chat was like, it's so great to reset because I haven't had any reason to drink, and I don't even want to go back to that space, because I feel like for me, I made the decision that I am quitting alcohol. I don't want to ever get back to that space. So it's crazy that I'm still able to like function. I'm still able to do things at work. When I'm stressed, usually I used to go out for a cigarette, but now it's just like, what, let's get this done, or let me take a break and I'll get back to it. My functionality is so much better, my delivery is so much better, I think. And then also generally just feeling healthier is such a great feeling. So I don't know what you're struggling with, I don't know what has you in a chokehold, but it's so nice to see. I think I can acknowledge addictions better now. I can see myself getting addicted to Coke, as in a Coca-Cola, because when you get mean because you couldn't have your Coca-Cola or you couldn't have your Sprite, and the caffeine as well, it feels too relieving, and then also for me to quit cigarettes, I made this plan in my head where I was like, I know as soon as I get a vape, I'm gonna be able to quit cigarettes. And it didn't necessarily do anything in terms of the nicotine the intake from the vaping, but it turned off a switch for me, the need to have a cigarette. I literally just went 2-3 days of extreme vaping, or just constant vaping, and then after that I stopped vaping. I didn't stop completely, but like I was off it for weeks and weeks, and I was fine. I can still go weeks without any kind of smoke, and I'm fine, you understand? So it's been quite the journey, and I just wanted to share that. I don't know why I wanted to share that, but I'm so glad that in my personal growth, in me deciding that some things are not for me anymore, I was able to let go of the two things that had me in a chokehold. I know for many of us, they're like survival. They're like the things that keep you afloat. They're the things that you can't even imagine how you're gonna celebrate your wins or move on. Like function normally without them. But it's so easy. I feel like I could be like an advocate right now, and I love the fact that so many people around me have engaged the same thing. And I think what also helped is the people around me. The people around me are they're amazing people, in the sense that they've made it so easy for me to become the person that I am. I've had my colleagues try to down me a drink, but I didn't, and that test of will alone has built my character for other things. As you can see, we started DAEMAN last year, and the way we've been running it, I think it's been running way smoother because I am consciously more aware of things. I'm more clear, I'm more aware of what's happening. And also, guys, I love experiencing things in the rawest form, from the concerts to just the genuine, happiness you get from someone interacting with you in whatever space. So last month, which was April, was Alcohol Awareness Month, and it's all about the consumption of alcohol and how there's so many different disorders around alcohol consumption, alcoholism as well. And I don't know, man, I don't know what this will do. How much, if you've watched any of my content, I was literally always smoking, I was drinking, and I don't know if there's somebody in your life who's struggling with something like that, but it'd be really nice for you to encourage them to quit if you see what it's doing to their life. And we have a tendency. The thing about specifically Basotho and Lesotho and Africans is that we have like a culture around drinking where we can't really enjoy anything without alcohol being in the mix somehow, or a cigarette somewhere, and we are all aware of what it's doing to our bodies and what it's doing to us, but it's so normalized that it's become part of ourselves and our everyday routine. But if you know someone, it would be nice for you to recommend the alternative spaces. You know, you could still be in spaces with people that are drinking and not be drinking. You can still enjoy things and learn to enjoy things without the consumption of alcohol. You know, alcohol has taken so many lives, it's ruined so many lives, it's done so much to us as a people. And I don't want to speak on a high horse and say I found the light and the Messiah right now who's basically preaching the word of sobriety, but I'm just saying maybe it's time you reflect on your own self, to what degree does and what role does alcohol and cigarettes play, nicotine play in your life, you know, and how far you want it to take you. Just truly encouraging this journey for everybody who wants to start, and just saying you could start it anytime, but you have to mentally be ready for you to do it and carry it out. And even if you do relapse, just be intentional about wanting to be sober. I think it'll be easy for everybody that way, you know. Shout out for watching, shout out for being in the conversation anyway. There's a few things that I'm going to be talking about in the few coming episodes. I'm going to be stripping down a few other more intimate conversations, you know. You know what, let's just be honest with ourselves and let's grow together and just be vulnerable with the journey and how much growth we want for all of ourselves. That's what you need to do, man. Subscribe, tell your friends that we're reconfiguring self, we're finding ourselves again, and basically the settings are being adjusted right now. We are readjusting the setting for everything. Catch you on the next episode. Love you absolutely. Thank you for joining me. You're amazing. Club Konnichi. See you on the flip.